I can tell you, 70 years is already catching up on me. Yeah, so the camera would have started, I think we had those Sony cameras and the SLR cameras, and yeah, those are the sort of things we used. No, not that far back, no, not a box and not the Polaroid ones either. No, it was just slightly beyond that. So we actually had cameras that you had the memory stick, you could stick in each other, and yeah. But nowadays, we're all photographers now. Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I used to enjoy reading was the cartoon at the bottom. Was it Imam Nasrullah? Maulana Nasruddin. Are we going to compile a book of all of his adventures over the years?
Well, if you listen to Graham Perrott, he goes on about how he always wanted to find a clean joke, and it was very hard to find a clean joke anywhere. And let me tell you, probably the hardest thing of doing CCN was actually finding the weekly joke. Thank God for the Irish people. But the problem with the Irish people, it was either, you couldn't do something like an imam and a rabbi and a priest walked into a pub. Now, that wouldn't go down well with the community. So I had to change a lot of things around, So the imam actually went into a kebab shop as opposed to the pub. So you'd have to be careful not to talk about adultery or fornication, all that kind of stuff, which made up the best jokes and the funniest ones. Unfortunately, they were not for the consumer, our consumers. So I really had to. The art was actually to take that joke and to make it what I call the halal joke, and it was quite a challenge actually. All the other stuff was relatively easy. Getting the joke was the tough part. Yeah, but I now I think have 837 halal jokes for anybody. But having said that, actually, it was not short of its controversy. I always some people did get offended by the joke. Yeah. Once I remember in a joke I had named a donkey Musa, because apparently in Egypt there's a famous donkey called Musa, and I had a number of emails complaining about why did I actually use the name. So I have to be very sensitive even about sensitive about the names that I chose, and whether it had any kind of religious connotation that people could take offense to.
Oh, sorry.
And one day I even got not too long ago actually, I meant to take up, it was an Irish joke and I sort of adapted it, but I forgot to, I had the Pakistanis there. And somebody said to me, how dare you offend the Pakistan? Wrote to me and I quickly changed it. I'm not sure if the Czechoslovakians, anybody here, sorry, but you got the brunt of that joke.
So when you spent 12 to 14 hours compiling CCN on a Saturday, what do your Saturdays look like now and what are they going to look like in the future?
Well, it's maybe a little bit too early to say exactly what my Saturday is going to look like, but I'll tell you the last Saturday was probably one of the most unusual ones. So I'm here, and I was saying to somebody this, always when I went overseas, there was one of four things that I already had. Either there was some still work to be done, or I had to do the CCN, or I had to attend a conference and present a paper, or I had to run some sort of a teaching class. And it was incredible, this Saturday, I got up and had none of that to do. Exams were all over at the university, so I had none of that commitment. Nobody wanted me to teach anywhere. I had no CCN, even no matter what, I didn't have the others, always had the CCN in the back of my head. And it would be like, wherever we went, I spent 7 months in South Africa on my sabbatical. And I had to, every Saturday I'm sitting out in South Africa writing for Brisbane or Australia. And then I went to Ireland and did a sabbatical there for a few months, and it was like, the newsletter was coming out of Ireland, from Dublin actually. It was amazing that. But it was always been like it's a continuous thing on the back of your head. And like, I always went everywhere around the world, and always Saturdays was a write-off. So no tours on Saturdays. You couldn't do anything. Just have to sit. I have to. Going to say thanks to my wife actually for. Well, there is a punchline, yeah. She doesn't get a freebie. You know. I have to thank her for really helping me on Saturdays and making sure that I got my lunch. But more importantly, she made sure that I didn't get the washing to do, or hanging out the clothes, or the vacuuming. She kept that on other days, but certainly Saturdays she let me free.
So what's in the future, Mus, now that you're going to take it a bit easy? What have you got planned? Big news?
Well, I haven't, nothing really, significant at the moment, but there's a lot of reading that I wanted to catch up on, and at the moment I've actually discovered 3 fascinating books that I'm reading almost simultaneously. One on a Kindle, one on audio, it's an Audible, and the third one is actually a physical book that I actually bought for the first time. I actually bought a book, I think it may be in about 8 or 9 years, because most of the books are on Kindle. So I'm looking forward to actually reading that and just enjoying that, not for the purpose of thinking, is this going to be good for CCN or not? Now, just for my own pleasure.
Is
So
it
I'm
fiction?
well, maybe I should just tell you, because I do have that section in CCN about books, and now I'm not going to have it, so I can tell you. So the light, it's quite light but very interesting, Dawn French's book, Because of You. Because of You, right? I highly recommend you read that book. It's a fascinating book. Nazima and I spent the week in Hamilton Island. We didn't do any snorkeling or anything. We just sat. I read one chapter and she read the chapter. We read the next one and we talked about it. So if you get around to getting that book, it's $16 at Big W. But and it is a really good read, actually. Especially women and their daughters should read that book. The other book I've got is Obama's one on Audible, the latest one, and it's a fascinating listen. And he reads it out on Audible, so it's worthwhile listening to his book as well. Oh, all right. So there we go. And there's a third one that I was just discussing with Kamal, and it's a book called The Sultan's Shadow. It's about the impact of the Ottoman Empire on current Western ideas, with how that all emanated. So it's a fascinating read as well. Had some very good. So I'll let you know.
Mus is going to open a book. I think Jenny's bought him a book. I hope it's not one that he's already spoken about. Yes.
Probably going to be one of the Islamic books that I'm going to finally have to read. Oh my goodness. Thank you very much. Well, funny enough, that I should just say that that's on our. This is called the bucket list, Australia's ultimate bucket list, and it's our plans that. In fact, probably one of the things that actually spurred on this idea that look, my time has come up, and that I should think about other things, and that's probably this idea that we want to do the grey nomad stuff. So I've got the grey hair, I'm getting old, I've got a few more years left, might as well do the obligatory thing, otherwise I can't say I'm an Aussie at all, right? So yeah, so the plan is, now that Anastasia has opened up all the borders and everything, I think we're ready to hit the road now, so the idea is to go around the country.
So that's with the caravan?
In Australia as well, that's on the top of the list, Australia right on the top of the list. Yeah.
Is that with a caravan or no?
One of the motorhomes, just a motorhome. Yeah. And maybe motorhome,
Make sure you're here for the
a
wedding.
few 5-star hotels and
Make
some
sure you're here
hotels.
for the wedding. Go after.
I'll let you eat your dessert. Mus will come back and say a few words at the end. David Ford wanted to say something.